Welcome to the Big Three Sportscast, where we talk about the Big Three sports: NFL, NBA, and MLB. Well, today we're going to be covering a lot of the NFL. We missed the past 2 weeks. Everybody's been really busy. School's starting back up for a lot of people, and me, myself, I'm getting ready to move out of here, get in my new apartment. I'll have my setup ready and everything. And I know Dan's not here this week again. He's coaching high school football, which a pretty good team for their division. I mean, they're really small school, but they've got some pretty big boys, honestly. Got to go see him play once. So this week, Ryan actually helped pick out our topics this week. So Ryan, if you want to share that with the people.
Yeah, sure. So this week we've got kind of making up for a lot of the last 2 weeks. Not so much in the last week before this week, though, as there wasn't that much news last week. But this week there's been a lot. Basically, there's more than one thing we're going to be talking about. But to get started, the biggest topic that I think will be the primary focus is Melvin Gordon is now going to be holding out through the season with the Chargers is probably the biggest one. There's a couple other holdouts still happening as well, but and a couple injuries to get to, and GM blasting their star player. But this one is probably the biggest issue is because the Chargers' best player is probably Melvin Gordon. Some people might argue Phillip Rivers, but I think it's probably Melvin Gordon. And he has decided to hold out and his not showing up to the team's facilities, not showing up at all. And the Chargers are definitely going to there. He's going to miss games because of it. It's pretty much been stated that that's going to happen. And the Chargers are going to struggle without him, that's for sure, as he is also a big fantasy football focus for a lot of people. I know a lot of people love taking Melvin Gordon in the draft, my brother included. And he usually does pretty well in every single year. He's a top running back. And I think it's kind of a big focus, especially now with the season only 2 weeks away, that he decided that he's going to wait and try to get his money like all the other running backs and players are now. So it's kind of a big issue for the Chargers for sure.
That's tough. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big hit for the Chargers. Their season might be. I mean, I don't think it'd be on the total down slope, but it's definitely not looking great if that happens for them.
Yeah, I mean the biggest problem is that he's still heading into his final year of his rookie deal. So it's not like he's at the end of the contract. He's doing the same thing Zeke is, where Zeke has no leverage and neither does Melvin Gordon.
Wait, so Melvin's not on his last year?
No, he's headed into his
So
last year.
this is his last year.
This will be his last year. Yeah. So
Well, I mean,
this is his last year to rookie contract.
he kind
And
of, if he doesn't get extended soon, then I mean, they obviously got to think
yeah.
about cutting him. So the Chargers hold all the
His
cards.
his agent Fletcher Smith told someone during an interview in July that he said, "Oh, he's prepared to sit. We'll take it day by day, week by week, and see how things go. But at this time, if he can't get anything done, he certainly won't be in training camp, and he's prepared to sit as long as he has to." And apparently, the Chargers did make him an offer, but the running back rejected it because it would be like basically like fifth or sixth highest paid running back, and he feels like he's worth more than that. He wants to at least be. He would have been made the fourth highest paid running back. He wants to at least be near the Todd Gurley range, which is of course
That's
the upper tier, the highest paid running back. So, um, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think he? I mean, everyone seems to be holding out nowadays for a contract, especially running backs, given how low their lifespan in the NFL is, generally speaking. But do you think, especially given Melvin Gordon's specific scenario and how he's pretty much the best player on the Chargers, maybe Phillip Rivers, but pretty much the best player. Do you think that he's worth anywhere near what Zeke, what Todd, what I can't remember the other guy, any of the Le'Veon, any of the highest paid running backs are getting paid?
no. I'm gonna tell you, he's not better than these four backs. He's not better than Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, or Saquon. So
You don't think he's better than Saquon?
He might be better than Saquon. I mean, Saquon's only played 1 year, so
Yeah.
it's hard to tell.
that kid's
Could
gonna be
fall off.
better.
I mean, I would say probably
His
future-wise,
his
Saquon
roof
looks
is
like
so
he'll be
much
better.
higher. His skill
But, like,
roof.
Go ahead.
Like no, Saquon. See, the thing is, Saquon doesn't just bring like a running back. He is another receiver. He's a good. He can be a good blocker with more training. Granted, I don't know how much the Giants are gonna help him with that,
Mm-hmm.
but he can do like. There's already a conversation who's the top two backs in the league, and Saquon's already up there even after his rookie year.
Yeah, that's true.
It's he's gonna be better even if he's not yet. If people say he's not better than Melvin Gordon in the next couple
Yeah.
years, Melvin Gordon's not even gonna be in the conversation. Like
You don't think
I'm
so?
sorry, no, because who are you gonna talk about? You're gonna keep talking about Zeke. even though Zeke's probably gonna, I'm not saying he's on his last leg, but the way he carries the ball, he takes a lot of hits. So if an injury comes upon him, which I really hope it doesn't, because he's a good back, he's
Yeah.
fun to watch. If
Okay,
that
well,
happens, then he's in trouble.
yeah.
But Saquon doesn't run into contact. Saquon's going to be good for years to come. Saquon's
That's very true.
he didn't fumble once last year, so that means he's showing that he can carry the ball at the upper level. And the thing is, the Giants really weren't anything without him last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they had Odell, but I mean, Eli couldn't throw him the ball, so Eli would give.
I'll say this
what was
about just for Melvin's
Melvin.
case. Jesus, Melvin's case. Last year it was probably his best year, and he missed 4 games. He had 14 total touchdowns, right? So that's really impressive for a running back, especially generally speaking, one who didn't play that many games. He had 14 total touchdowns. He finished the season only 885 yards, but he also missed 14 games. But his average yards per carry last year was higher than all the 3 top leaders in the NFL for rushing yards. It was higher than Zeke, it was higher than Saquon, it was higher than Gurley. All those people played nearly every single game, right? And he had 5.1 yards per carry, while the next highest was Saquon at 5. So given that, and given the fact that he played 4 less games, yeah, he probably could have done better on the rushing side in the games he did play. But the Chargers didn't have an astounding running team. They were not known for it. It's not like, oh, our offensive line is tremendous. We're going to push everyone back, and the linebackers will have nowhere to go but, get stomped over by our O-line, right? And I think Melvin, he's the type of back that's so prevalent in the NFL right now because he's got that catching ability as well as the catch and run from the backfield. And he's like the dump off where the QB has nowhere to go. He looks to his running back. That is so relevant in the NFL right now. And I think he's that exact type of back. So, like as his agent pointed out, he only needs one team. And his agent said back in July, he was talking to somebody, again, I don't know who, but he said back in July that if the Chargers don't want to pay it, just trade us. That's all he said. And so he said all we need is one team, and the Chargers' best option might be to just trade us, which I would like to see.
So this is just a quick question. Do you think? So I'm looking at their stats right now, like the top. I'm looking at like all the stats right now for the rushing for all the running backs last year.
Yeah.
The top 3: Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, David Johnson, with Todd Gurley at 4.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Do you think Melvin Gordon would have had the carries Zeke did at 300? Because Melvin Gordon only had 175 attempts.
He only had 175 what?
Rushing attempts.
Okay.
Well, right. I think that's just rushing.
Okay.
So, if he plays those 4 games, right?
Yeah.
He only played 12 out of everybody else. Basically played 16 except Zeke. And Todd, but Todd only played 14.
Right.
Do you think he would have carried the ball 100 more times over 4 games?
No, not a chance. I think he probably would have only carried it because they were in the playoffs last year. I don't think they would have dragged him down any further on meaningless games.
Okay. I mean,
I can understand what you're saying. He definitely would have not carried it to the point that that all the top backs are carrying it.
That's the thing. Like, you can't pay him as much as these other guys because he's not their workhorse. The thing is, the Chargers are a really balanced team. They find their chemistry in the way they throw the ball 50-50 and then they run the ball the other 50. They have a very balanced attack versus like the Cowboys really based off the running back. So they really need to be able to pay Zeke, but they still haven't. The Giants, the only thing they really had last year, because Eli can't throw the ball 20 yards, is they only had Saquon or Odell running across the field.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean,
I see where you're coming from. Go ahead, Cole.
How long has he been in the league for?
He's on his last season of his rookie contract.
So I think that's
a 5-year contract, or is it 3?
I think it's.
So he's been
3.
Okay, so he's only been in the league 2 actual years.
Yeah, so this is his third.
This is
the
third
rookie contract's a 3-year.
He's pretty young still. He's only 26.
And he wants Todd Gurley money.
He said he wants his offer that his agency made was between 10 and 11 million, right? And that was like per year.
That's not really Todd Gurley money. I mean, that's a little bit short.
Got a 4 years, $60 million, which is basically like
it's 15 a year.
15 million a year, right? And that was the offer the Chargers that was the offer the Chargers made to Melvin Gordon,
Oh,
not the way.
okay.
Yeah, no, that's what they offered to him. He rejected it, and they have not. They've refused to up the offer since then.
Well, see, here's the thing: the Chargers also have to think about, because I mean they're about to go into Phillip Rivers' downfall.
Yeah.
Like it's not happening this year. I don't think it may
No, I
not
don't
even
think
happen
so.
next year. I just saying, Phillip Rivers has been in the league a long time. If he takes more punishment this year, they really need to think about not necessarily a rebuild, but finding another quarterback.
Yeah.
So the Chargers are sitting there thinking about maybe we find somebody else who's maybe a little bit better than Phillip Rivers, and we pay him the money.
Yeah, that could be.
And see, I mean, they've got a lot to think about.
They have two young running backs that really put on really showed up last season when Melvin was out, with Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson, who they were actually pretty decently. They didn't do star material numbers, but they were pretty damn good for backups. And maybe the Chargers thinking, look, we have these two guys who could carry us as a well-rounded attack. We don't need a star running back. We have two decently good running backs who did well together last year. Let's see what happens without Melvin this year.
I mean, so I'm looking at Austin Eckler's stats from last year. He started 3 games. He played in 14.
Mm-hmm.
For 106 attempts, he had 554 yards.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Like if you're coming off the bench, like those guys who come on, who are coming off the bench, I consider them to be like cold. Like you come off the bench, you're cold, man.
Yeah.
You haven't seen game yet. Like you're just like waiting for your number to be called, and it's like, all right, 3rd down, go ahead, and you're just like, well, now I gotta pick it up.
And you only said he started 3 games?
He only started 3 games, but he played in 14.
So playing in 4 games total, and he had 100+ carries and over 500 yards.
14 games. So I mean, he's not getting a lot. He's not getting a lot of carries a game.
Yeah.
Like think about it. We do the math. I mean, he's averaging less than 10 carries a game. I think it's more like maybe 8 or 7 carries a game. That's not a lot at all.
No, it's not. But the yards he put up was for what he is. So I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, they said yards a game. He's averaging 40. I rounded. He only fumbled the ball once, and he had his longest run of the year was a 41-yarder. But even then, like I said, you're coming off the bench. You're not necessarily the starter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of teams do this like 3 running back system or 2 running back system. It can work, but I feel like it's easier to find like actual star running back.
Yeah.
Maybe have like a 3rd down back, but only for like when your guy's tired.
Them now, because now they're demanding. That's the problem with the star running backs now, especially the young ones who are like entering their last year or last 2 years of their rookie contracts. They all want to be paid big early before they really even prove themselves, because they know they're going to get their next contract. They're going to get average money, and all their prime talent's going to be washed up in that next contract. And then when they want to get their big money at the veteran contract at the end of their lifespan, no one's going to want to pay them that, because they're already been used up all their talent. They're just at that point glass cannon.
Yeah. But I mean,
which is unfortunate, but that's kind of the state of the NFL running back right now.
These guys just get used. Like, I feel like the running back position is very much like a lot of these like big sports hosts talk. They talk like, oh, the running back position's overvalued. Like, you don't need to pay him that much. I could disagree with that. Like, when you see these teams win, like the Patriots Super Bowl last year. I mean, we talked about this podcast or 2 ago. I think it was actually the last one. Like, Belichick always finds a good running back to just fill in the hole, right?
Yeah.
He just finds a guy to fill in the spot. I mean,
pretty much.
I understand people need to make their money, but I mean, if you're looking to win a championship, you got to be willing to make a sacrifice, I guess. Sacrifice a little bit of money. So, I mean, like, I feel like sorry, phone went off. I got to put that away.
I mean, even Belichick knows that.
Yeah, I know, but Belichick's even willing, like, he's willing to pay. He knows who his star players are. And he knows when it's time to let them go. So maybe
almost every single season, off season, he let some star player on defense or offense go. Like this past off season, he let one of their best linemen go, I believe. One of the best linemen in the NFL. I can't even remember his name, but they let him go. But they did pay people to replace that man. It's not like he's just the only. They let him go and they're like, oh well, we'll just use someone from our system, when they know their system isn't good enough to replace that.
Yeah, well, I think the Chargers are starting to realize that. Like, they're picking up off of it. Like, they're looking at Melvin Gordon almost and saying like, yeah, we can pay you, but you gotta make a commitment to us.
Yeah,
like that's that's what they do with Brady. Brady's like, I'll just make the pay cut. I'll take the pay cut. It's all good. Let's win.
Yeah, but Brady's been playing for years.
Well,
He's
and also
made
it
his
also helps
dough.
that his worth worth billions.
Oh, that
basically.
I mean, yeah, that is nice too, of course.
No,
All right,
but
well, so basically, to
it's-
sum it up, what you're saying is that whose side are you taking on this?
I'm gonna take the Chargers side because I don't see Melvin Gordon like here on Pro Football Reference. They ranked him at the 20th spot.
Yeah,
So I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that there's a lot of stuff that plays into this. I really don't think I don't think anybody should be getting paid as much as Todd Gurley does, but I also see the point that they're trying to
lock
make.
him up, lock
Yeah.
him up for as long as possible.
Yeah, but I understand why the running backs want so much money because they're being run to the ground. So I definitely think
True.
if you're using them in that way, they need paid. But Melvin Gordon's not being used that way.
Yeah,
He's not Zeke. He's not Todd Gurley. He's not David Johnson or Saquon.
I see what you mean.
So I don't think you
he's
give him
not
the money.
top tier of the top tiers, but he's also not
He's not
mid tier.
He's good, but he's
just not up there good.
He's not transcendent.
Yeah, I get it.
And you pay the transcendent talents that money. You don't pay anybody else really.
It will be interesting to see if he decides if they can reach a deal before week 1, because from what I'm seeing and every website and source seems to be saying is it's not looking like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is going to hurt that as good as the Chargers backups are, it's still going to hurt them. I mean, people go to a Chargers game. Yeah, Philip Rivers is great, but people go to a Chargers game to see Melvin Gordon because they love Melvin Gordon.
How much do you think it'll affect their record if he doesn't play?
I think they lose one game they should win for sure.
I'll put two.
Because their backups, while they're good, they're not Melvin Gordon, and they don't play anywhere near to the ability he can play. So I think it'll at least they'll lose one game they should win for sure. And when that happens, I think the Chargers start to panic, and their front office starts to panic because already, let's be honest, the Chargers fans not near the size of the Rams fans, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Giants scenario. When their fans turn on you, you have to make a change.
I'm telling you right now, if they could beat a lot of these teams, but if they lose Melvin Gordon, they won't stack the box because the other two running backs just aren't as good.
Exactly.
So I think honestly
When
they
it
could
kind of goes all to Philip Rivers. He's not the best quarterback when all the pressure is on him alone.
He's still good though.
He's good, but he's not wow, this is a star-studded talent, top 5 quarterback. He can be if it's not all the pressure on him. If he has something else he's able to turn to, like his running game or his running back or a star receiver, something like that, he can count on daily to do something. If he has to make every play himself, that's when he struggles.
That's true. I think the two games that I see them that are toss-up games that they could win or lose, Melvin Gordon's not there, and this is week 6, 7.
Yeah.
Is the Steelers, and then a couple weeks later they got the Bears.
They definitely could lose that.
Those are two games where if you don't have that running game, because the Steelers' defense is really weak.
Any team with a good, just a good defense in general, which will force Phillip to not have to also worry about his running game as well, that's going to make them struggle.
That's true.
Do you think that if he walks, they can still win the division?
No.
No, they're not.
I think if he doesn't show up all year and goes somewhere else or goes on just forgets the team, I think they lose because as much as the Raiders get ridiculed, I feel like the Raiders could even beat them.
I mean, I'm not going to say that, but I mean,
I'm not saying they
they're not
will,
beating the
but
Chiefs. Even if they have them, they're not beating the Chiefs.
no,
That's the
I think
Chiefs'
they
division.
need Gordon to win the division for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Cole?
I mean, I doubt they're gonna win their division regardless, and definitely
agree.
not if Gordon walks.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I'd be interested to know who would offer Melvin that much money, because I don't think anyone would.
I can think of a team in the Mid-Atlantic who definitely needs a young, star-studded running back.
Y'all need a lot of
The
things.
Redskins will overpay for anybody. That's what they
That's
do.
so true.
What they do.
That is very
best
true.
I'm going to say, I think if you try and get a running back like Melvin Gordon, if you're trying to do something like that, maybe you're just trying to stay relevant, and maybe he
Yeah.
has a breakout season and becomes a star in a certain city that doesn't have stars. So,
I mean, if we're gonna be dead honest, the number one team I can think of that's an actual contender for the playoffs that needs a running back is the Packers. That's the honest best answer that's an actual contending team for the playoffs that Melvin could see himself going to. Because he's not used to playing in cold climates. He plays in Los Angeles for fuck's sake.
Yeah, right.
But but that's a team that needs a running back, a star running back who's proven himself that actually could contend for the playoffs.
Okay.
At least that's what I think.
Hey, I mean, I would not hate that if Melvin came here.
He's
I know
like,
you wouldn't hate that.
he's like, sign the contract and get here, please.